A pretty useful tool we can use in the king and pawn endgames is called the rule of the square. So in the rule of the square, we are trying to see if our pawn can get to the finish line first, the end of the board, or if the king can catch up to it before the pawn gets there. So of course we can count the moves, go like, white goes here, black goes there, white goes here, black goes there, and so on, and maybe we'll lose track or something like that though. Instead, there's an easier way of doing this. We take the pawn and we draw a square. So we draw a diagonal to the end of the board, and look at that, we have a square. So now, using the square, if the king is able to get in the square, then the position is a draw. If the king cannot get in the square, then white's pawn will be able to beat black's king, and white will be able to promote winning the game. So let's see this in practice. So if it was white to move here, we once again need to draw our square, right? Draw our diagonal first so we can make our square. We have our square now, and from this we can see that if we play, for example, g4, king here, the king can never get inside our square, right? This is our new square. The king is not inside it. The king would like to, but after g5, the square becomes smaller, and here, no matter what black plays, his king can't get inside of the square. So if we move it out to the end, we can see that, indeed, white is able to promote his pawn before black's king will catch up. Let's try another example. So here it's white to move, and we can easily see that after here, black is not in the square, so we make our square, and after we play, let's say, something like this, we can see that black can never really get into this new square. So easily here we can see that white will be winning this game. However, if we go back to the starting position, and if it's black to move, then here, after king to g6, we would think that, oh, black's in the square. Look at that. This is our square. Hey, look, black's king is inside. It looks like black can catch us. So, of course, if we play something like a3, and let's move it out to the end, black can eventually go chase the pawn down all the way at the b7 square, and even if white promotes, it's going to be a draw. However, we notice that here, white's pawn is on the second rank. So this means that there's a twist. After king g6, on the first move, white can move his pawn 2 squares. So make sure we take that into account. And now we can see, using the rule of the square, this time there are no tricks. White's pawn will only move 1 square from now on. And now we can see that the black king truly can't get inside of the square. So for pawns on the second rank, you should treat them as if they're on the third rank when you're calculating the squares. With just one more example here, it's currently black to move, and we're seeing if white can win here. So it looks like, once again, black can get in this square. Here's a square, right? Black is just in the corner of the square, so he should be fine. However, it turns out that this is not so. So if black gets his king inside the corner, of course, if we play something like this, right, black can chase us all the way here, and of course, the game is going to be a draw because black's king is able to catch up. However, in this case, white has another trick he can use. So for example, if we play h4, king d4, white can first play the move f6. Now after f6, black is forced to take, and after black takes, then white can play the move h5. So after h5, we have a square here, and we can see that, okay, black will be able to get in the square, but the point is that after h6, now we have the square here, and black's king will not be able to get in the square like that. So after h6, black will play king e6, but this forces him to take an extra move, and now white is able to promote winning the game. So this is just a quick introduction on rule of the square. Remember just that the rule of the square happens when you create a diagonal from the pawn to the end of the board, and we draw the lines like so, creating a square. If the king's inside the square, the side that's defending can catch the pawn, but if the king isn't, then the pawn will win the race, and it can promote into a queen.